Okay, so we're going to do, as the sun rises, we're going to do some yin yoga. And in doing that, let's see if I can get this a little bit more straight here. We're going to look at how we can relax into the poses. So yin yoga, I think it's become more popular, but really it's part of a practice of being more, the yin, we're part of the word yin yang. So you've got yin is more introverted, more calm, and taking in the pose. So look at it that way when we do these traditional yoga hatha postures, that you're going to stay in it a little bit longer. We're going to deepen the pose with the breath. We're going to be very mindful, more internalizing. So that's the mental part of it. And then the physical part of it is we're looking at really the attachments of the joints. We're going to feel into those as we do the movement. So we're going to start with a modified butterfly position. So normally we could put our feet, the bottoms of the feet together, but I'd like to put one in front of the other. That way we can open up the back of the hips a little bit. So we're going to move, we're going to get comfortable up on our sits bones. So we want to make sure we're not on, I'll just face this way so you can see, we don't want to be curved on our tailbone. You want to be up on your sits bones. So move the flesh, literally pick your flesh up, move it out of the way so that you are lifted and your spine still has the space and is not compressed or pulled. That's going to perpetuate back issues. So we want to be up on our sits bones. That's a principle that you want to really have in place as you practice yoga. If you're super tight back there, you can't even get into that position, I would recommend rolling first. So we're going to take one heel and bring that in front of the other. We're going to actually just bring the heel in front of the pubic bone. So if that is uncomfortable, you can have it a little bit wider, further away from your body. We're going to bring the other foot in front, and in that foot being in front, you're going to feel a different stretch as we forward bend, with the piriformis getting activated and a little bit more deeper connection in the glutes. That's what we're looking for. So we're going to stay in this pose probably for a good 90 seconds, and we're going to utilize the breath in through the nose, out through the nose, going deeper with the breath in the diaphragm. So we'll begin with a deep breath, filling the diaphragm, pulling the breath deep into the diaphragm, deep into the belly, and then we're going to breathe a little bit more in to fill that whole space up. And we're going to keep that breath for a moment, and we're going to shift the breath up into our sternum area or up into the heart space. And then we're going to exhale it out. So that's the breath practice you'll do when you're in the forward bend. And the movement of that breath, moving that breath into different parts of the body in the heart space and moving it from the diaphragm and filling it up completely, is a way that helps internally massage those organs. So that's another benefit that we want to use, and why prana, the breath, is so important to understand and practice. Probably more important than the actual hatha, the physical posture. So we're inhaling, pull the breath in, relax the shoulders, breathe in more fully into the lungs. So we're taking in more air, filling up 100%. And we're going to shift that breath. So we're going to shift it out, and we're going to go into our posture. We haven't exhaled yet. Now I want you to go ahead and breathe normally, and then see if you can practice that format while you're in this forward bend. You can extend your arms open, drop your shoulders, just being mindful. You'll notice that as you stay in this posture and you process with that breathing practice, with that prana practice, it's creating deeper tissue, deeper connection to everything that's going on in the system. And a couple of other little pieces to this is that doing that breath type of work also helps reduce anxiety. And so you should start feeling that. I'm going to stop talking and just let us be in this posture as I guide through this. The breath is in deep into the diaphragm. Work to fill 100% so that you get your lungs full, the upper lung, and then you can begin to move that breath into the upper lung and back into the diaphragm, shifting it. On your exhalation, it is a long, slow exhalation. So the exhalation is actually going to be longer than your inhale. Okay, so we can come out of that. And as you do, you should feel like you haven't been stuck in a posture, but instead you've been flushing the body with this circulation and blood. And it's very, very beneficial. So we'll extend the legs out. It's a little bit different than just going into a posture, holding it and forcing it. In fact, actually, it's very, very different, this practice. So shake out the legs, and then we'll put the other one in front. Actually, the other foot's going to be in front, just a little bit more exaggerated out, away from the body. You're up on your sits bones, inhaling. Deepen the diaphragm. The diaphragm is full. Once that's full, you're going to take new breath in, fill the lungs, like an accordion, they'll expand, and then continue. You're still on an inhale. Continue with the breath, inhaling into the upper lungs. And then you're going to push from the diaphragm, pushing up and shifting all of that air that you brought in up and down through that whole respiratory system, just shifting. And then as you exhale, it's a long, slow exhale, relaxed. And then when you're ready, you can do your forward bend. I usually get 2 breaths while I'm in the posture, so that could be a little bit longer than 45 seconds for each breath. Just holding that, you're going to want to practice that on your own. If you're not used to doing this type of posture work with the breath, then you'll want to practice it. And if that's just too confusing, just go ahead and do normal breathing, as long as you're breathing. Okay, so very calming, very internalizing, very therapeutic for all of the internal organs. you've been practicing this, or it'll be some really wonderful to be back into a class where I can work with people. But for now, understanding that, and if you have questions about this practice is one of, it's so profound to practice in this way, where you're taking in the breath. It completely shifts like nothing else that I know. Fear and anxiety, on a deep, deep visceral level, it completely calms the body. And this is an important practice to have to hand. So let's do this other posture where we will be on our backs. You can already hear my voice is different, more deeper. I'm more connected to my synovial fluid. And I just wonder how it's going for you, just being aware of that. It's a very profound practice. All right, so for this, similar, we're working, really focusing on that deep breath and bringing that oxygen in. So we're using that oxygen, we're oxygenating all of the tissue, all of the fluid in the body, the micro tissues, as opposed to the deep muscle work that we do when we do lots of postures or lots of Ashtanga type of power yoga. So we're going to cross one leg over, and in just crossing that, the knees are in front of that nose. Again, this is that's going to be very beneficial for that hip and the low back. So we'll take our breath in. New breath comes into the lungs. New breath into the upper chest. And then you're going to shift that. Then we'll go into the pose where we're stretching all the way across into that spine twist with the legs crossed. There's a lot happening here. So when you're ready, you can use your breath and just practice while you stay in this pose. 2 to 3 full breaths like that. Each time you breathe, you're going to notice little micro shifts in different areas. All of that fascia as it's connective, all of that connective tissue. Getting the benefits, getting the circulation. And when you're in a twist like this, my legs are going to the left, so my right side is getting stretched and open, so there's my liver, but on the left side you've got your pancreas, you've got your spleen and pancreas. There's so much with the organs open through here. The breath is the key though, so you want to practice that. The breath is key. And then be sure to empty to nothing. So when you exhale, you're going to exhale to empty. Taking a moment once you're empty. Then you take that full breath in again. So we'll gently move those legs back in. Ensure that you're using the muscles to bring your legs back in, right? You're not pulling from a joint. You just come back and settled, nice and easy. And then we'll uncross and switch to the other side. the organs here I can feel for myself, and as you tune in with your own personal practice, when you tune in to your body and you're having a conversation with your body, you can feel the different organs speaking to you almost. The organs, the cells speaking to you. And if you are, of course they're not saying words like humans, English, right? Or whatever language. There is a connection, there's a communication, and that's what you want to tap back into. That is really what I hope and what I've always wanted to create, what my purpose was with Yogalachi. It is about having a conversation, reconnecting, communication to our bodies in a gentle way. So remember to use your breath. 3 parts, I like to look at it as 3 parts. You fill your diaphragm completely, then your lungs, filling your lungs completely. New breath, don't shift the breath from the diaphragm up to the lungs yet. Fill in new breath until you're 100% full. And then you're pushing through all of those organs. You're bringing the breath up and down, and you're filling up that whole space, pushing out that oxygen. It's incredibly toning for those organs, incredibly beneficial. It will improve your capacity to breathe more fully, which is vital, so vital for us. It'll improve your ability to focus and to relax. There's so many benefits to this practice. Many times folks don't like to do it because it's not rare and where you're busy and working and getting strong and toned, yet there's a lot of hidden benefits to that type of practice, that yin practice, done again in a way that's very connected, very the work is inner. It's all inner work that you're doing in that breath, but it's different than, it's a different type of practice. So if you're interested in more of that, that is something that I practice more on my own. It's how I practice Tai Chi and Qigong, more of an internalized, not introspection, but it's really reconnecting to the place of our deeper intuition. It's so profound. I don't know if you experienced that just in these few minutes of doing this, but even as I was teaching and communicating this, that connection is so significant to practice that way. And with the breath, it's so incredible. So will you please comment and let me know if you're appreciating these videos, and if you are appreciating being communicated and taught in this way, or if you would rather have something else. This is, while the videos aren't necessarily new to me, as a continuing teaching point, not having feedback, not being able to see the body and make corrections or to assist, it's a little bit challenging. So please give me feedback and let me know what it is that you would like support with. I'm committed to doing these free 7 a.m. sessions. I would be normally have my clients at this time, but this is a window that I've put in here so that I can offer this for free. And if you have something that you want support with, now's the time to do it. Go ahead and put in the comments below what you would like, and I'll bring that to the next session. If you want more one-on-one support, or if you want to join our posture and mobility makeover, it's a 30-day makeover for posture and mobility. You can join that class. But I want you to know that I'm here for you, and I support our well-being, and I also support that our bodies are amazing. And science and medicine, while fabulous for acute situations, they don't necessarily understand the whole picture of the whole system. So I have I have, I'm not going to get into it, but I want us all to understand that we are resilient, and we need to understand that the ability to take back our own health and well-being is our right. And so hopefully you practice that. The most simple things you can do is get clean, fresh water. The sun is shining here in the Pacific Northwest, so getting outside between those hours of 11 and 1 for right now, as the sun is shifting on its axis. And getting the vitamin D, vitamin C. I'm doing lots of orange Julius's with my kiddos, and fresh, whole, organic foods. The body thrives on that. And then, of course, then I posted this on the Instagram, the having the 6 flavors, so 6 tastes. So garlic is great to be adding to your food regularly. Cilantro and celery for the sweets, salty. Instead of having processed sugars and salts, go for the natural foods that have the salts, like the celeries, like the cucumbers. They're naturally sweet and salty and bitter and pungent. So we want to eat in that way, as opposed to, and that will handle and help a lot with cravings, as opposed to going to the packaged processed foods. You will feel very, very different. I know it's like, oh, she wants me to eat celery. It's like, yeah, have 3 celery stalks chopped up in your salad with some greens. We're in this season now where we can get fresh greens. Hopefully you have access to that. And that is going to make a huge difference and go a long way towards not only boosting your immune system, but helping you with health and longevity, and just feeling good generally, right? All right, so I will leave it at that. And of course, you can replay these, and I've got now a few weeks worth. So if you want to replay those, do that. Otherwise, comment, let me know what you'd like to work on. Tomorrow, we're going to do more of a high energy agility training. So it's a little faster. We're going to do a lot more moves. We're going to get the heart rate up, kind of a Tabata type of style, where we're going to do bursts for 20 seconds and then transition for 10. And that's a nice metabolism booster. Okay, so I will see you tomorrow for that.